Oy vey, beloveds. Oy vey. So, this is one of the prouder moments of my artistic career. This is a poster for a one-man production of Notes from Underground. A friend of mine put together and acted in. I was part of a theater production company. And that was something that we put together. I was listed as a producer, even though I did pretty much nothing. But it was awesome. And I'm proud to have my name associated with it. Now, this video is going to be about the dangers of wokeism and how wokeism is going to become more and more pervasive and will lead to more and more open discrimination, ghettoization, I mean it already is, and potentially a Holocaust. So, the following made the rounds. I think with the way I've got the thing set up, the following has made the rounds yesterday. It made the rounds yesterday. Tenses are hard. Milan University bans Dostoevsky books. And so then a journalist tweeted, Italy's main university in Milan just banned teaching Fyodor Dostoevsky because he's a Russian writer. Dostoevsky was sent to a Siberian labor camp for reading banned books in Tsarist Russia. We are reaching levels of hatred and stupidity that I thought were never possible. Now, very, very quickly, as in the same day, the university reversed course / clarified its position. Right? Dostoevsky course reinstated after cancellation sparks row. Writer and lecturer Paolo Nori had complained of censorship. So I'm going to read this story, which is just 3 or 4 paragraphs. I'm going to scroll past this woman with woolen hair and a mask on. All right. So a course on Russian literary giant Fyodor Dostoevsky, which had been canceled at a Milan university due to Russia's invasion of Ukraine, will now go ahead as scheduled, the university said Wednesday. Now, whether the university actually said it was because of the invasion or not is something I don't know. That's the claim in this story. Writer and lecturer Paolo Nori had said the matter at the Milano Bicocca University was a case of unwarranted censorship and that literature should not be punished due to Russian President Vladimir Putin's actions. Not only is it a fault to be a living Russian in Italy today, but also to be a dead Russian, said Nori, adding that Dostoevsky, author of Crime and Punishment, The Brothers Karamazov, and other classics, had been condemned to death himself in 1849 because he had read something that was prohibited. Announcing the reinstatement of the course, Milano Bicocca said, "We are a university open to dialogue and listening, even in this very difficult period, which spurs dismay due to the escalation of the conflict. We can confirm that the course will take place on the scheduled days and we will discuss the content with the writer." And then, very sinisterly, furthermore, the university's dean will meet Paolo Nori next week for a moment of reflection. So, Nori points out the very obvious irony of those who are resisting or against Russian aggression being against the literature of Dostoevsky, who did in fact spend years in Siberia. And wow, I mean the religious nature of his works. Just, this was a man that we ought to study for a better humanity. And wouldn't you want to encourage an attitude in Russia of destroying totalitarianism? And wouldn't you want to encourage in students in Italy the idea that it is possible to have another Russia? What we have here is encouraging polarization. What we have here is dehumanization, right? This is where cancel culture goes, right? Cancel culture started with the whole intersectionality thing, but intersectionality is a totalizing theology. And yes, I will call it a theology. So that Paolo Nori clearly needs to be taught a little something about right think. Let's get together for a moment of reflection. Now, people objected to this happening and pointed out the obvious irony. But the fact is, these administrators thought that this would be something that was warranted, would be something that was wanted, and, most importantly, failed to see the irony, failed to stand up for truth, beauty, and goodness. Now, this is an illustration of the expansive nature of wokeism, how it will cover all of life unless it is combated. And it will kill diversity. How dare you study a Russian? That is absolutely mind-blowing, ought to be frightening, and ought to tell us that there is no escape from the fight. Truth, beauty, and goodness. These things are actually what bring nuance. These things are what actually bring understanding. And these things are what actually bring strength. One way of looking at the great crisis in the West is that we have been too weak to assimilate. That's what a lot of the nationalistic reactions are about. If we are truly strong, then we can bring in. But we don't believe in our own strength. And why is that? Ultimately, because we have no God. Don't stop fighting this sort of thing. Start fighting it at your local level and start institutions, organizations, clubs, fan groups, whatever, communities that stand for truth, beauty, and goodness. Triune diversity. Triune diversity. Wow, it's like 3 and 2. Triune diversity in the face of the great singularity, the great monad. The peace of Christ be upon you.
Our educational system, and indeed our society as a whole, was destroyed in the 19th century by the German influence.
Really?
Ability as a concept turned into a mechanical, empirical construct. You may be a beneficiary of this system.